When you try to think a thought that feels better in the midst of thinking a thought that doesn't feel good, it's hard because you've already often established a frequency, and law of attraction is already saying, oh, if you don't like that one, then you probably won't like this one either. If you don't like that one, then how about this one? If you feel this bad, you can feel even badder. In other words, law of attraction is not discriminating. Law of attraction just dishes up whatever you got going on, you see. So there are two things that you could do if you really want to get hold of your personal vibrational frequency. One is make a decision to appreciate every chance you get. And sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. Have you noticed it? Sometimes something will happen and appreciation will just well up in you. Goosebumps will bump up all over you. You'll be having one of those tuned in, tapped in, turned on moments, and you know it. You can just feel the fullness of source flowing with you. But sometimes when you're not feeling good and you try to appreciate, it just backfires. It just reminds you of how far you are from where you want to be. We tease with these affirmation cards that when you try to affirm, when you take an affirmation card that someone else wrote, and someone else did write those, it was us. They're brilliant. They are brilliant. Best words ever put on paper for tuning a frequency to well-being. These particular cards are about money and quite a bit relative to well-being in general, but it's focused toward money. And as you focus upon them, if you're not in the vicinity of the vibration of these cards, then you'll hate them. They'll just remind you what you've not got going on. I'm developing the skill to direct my thought. I can make a career of living happily ever after. Sure, I can. Welcome to planet Earth. I can transform my own world. If that were true, it would be different. I can see my world through the eyes of Source. I can see my world through the eyes of Source. So if you're not in the vibrational frequency of these cards, they don't seem so brilliant. And affirming, all right, maybe I'm not focused enough. Life is always working out for me. I can earn money by doing what I love to do. They don't pay you for surfing. I can create both money and the time to enjoy it. I'm going to send that to my boss. Whatever I desire, I can acquire. I'm going to send that to him too. So you get what we're getting at as we deliberately mock our own brilliance. Because the frequencies have to match up before it feels good. The frequencies have to match up before it feels good. And if the frequencies don't match up and you push it, you'll just dig in where you are. So when we say there are two things that we would do, these are the two things. We would appreciate every chance we get if the appreciation comes easy. And if it doesn't come easy, we wouldn't push it. Have you ever had a conversation with someone who disagreed with you about something and you knew you were right? They knew you were wrong and they knew they were right, but you knew you were right. So you talk, trying to convince the other, and what happens? You're both just more sure that you're right because you just dig into where you are. Well, the same thing happens when you decide to affirm from a vibrational vantage point that isn't in alignment with what you want. There's a backlash in it that makes you hate law of attraction. It makes you hate Abraham. It makes you sure that there's something inherently wrong with you, and you walk away from it certain that you're unworthy, and that's why things aren't going well. And it isn't anything like that. It's just a vibrational variance that you can't buck the current of. So if you try to appreciate and can't, then the next plan of action, and it really works well, is just get as general as you can about whatever it is that's bothering you. Because if you try to appreciate and you can't, what's happened is you've activated a very specific frequency about something unwanted. For example, you say, I don't have enough money. That's a sort of gentle thing to say, except that it means I also can't do the things I really want to do. And it also means I'm worried about more negative repercussions coming. And what if it really gets bad? And what if I end up with no place to live and no car to drive and no food to eat? In other words, the more specific you get, the worse it feels when you're focused upon the opposite of what you want. Do you agree? So there's a tendency, because you are oriented, we love you very much, toward problem solving, there's a tendency to get really specific about the problem in your effort to solve it. But all that does is keep a vibration that is opposite of what you want and a vibration that is opposite of who you are active in your vibration. It just makes it harder and harder. And so then you try harder and harder. You do more processes, you make more affirmations, and you practice without meaning to often the opposite vibration of what you're reaching for. Where if you decide you will go general, you see, if you're really specifically knowing what you don't want, you're in the worst feeling place. If you get more general about it, you'll feel better. And from generally knowing what you don't want, you can generally know what you do want. But from specifically knowing what you don't want, you can't find the specifics of what you do want right here, right now. Now, you've launched them. In other words, the opposite of the wave, when you really know what you don't want, what you do want has been projected vibrationally into your vortex, and the source within you has become a vibrational match to it. And technically speaking, you are it. In other words, when you're sick, you are weller vibrationally than you were before you got sick. If you have a financial crisis, there's more money amassed for you vibrationally than before the crisis happened, because that's just the way this wave, this vibrational wave works. But the question isn't, did you launch the rocket? The question isn't, does the vortex of creation hold your vibrational improved life? It does, it always does. The question is, what is your possibility of tuning to the frequency of what you do want when you're so tuned to the frequency of what you don't want? That's really what creation hinges on. It hinges on your ability to move your average, going on all day, focus, to move it into the place that's more in alignment with who you really are and what you really want than with what you don't want and sometimes with what you've got. And it all hinges upon you being so, we love you very much, intoxicated with what is. You know you are. What is so real. And you think it's real because you can hear it and see it and smell it and taste it and touch it. So it's real. And not only can you, others can too. So when others look at what is and agree that what is isn't what you want, it feels compelling enough that you keep wanting to talk about it, you keep wanting to explain it, you keep wanting to think about it, you keep wanting to keep it active in your vibration, because after all, it's real and you don't want to be delusional. You really do. You don't want to be delusional, you don't want to stick your head in the sand, you don't want to not face reality. And we say, why would you face a reality that you don't want? Because it's real. Well, it may be temporarily real, but it's past tense. By the time it's manifested, it's old news. What's in the vortex is really where it's at, you see. We know we ask you to focus beyond what is normal in your humandom. But when you do focus beyond what is normal, when you get your eyes on the big picture and you accept that you are source energy here reveling in this powerful moment. Now, how can you be eternally focused and focused here in this powerful moment? Abraham, make up your mind. I'm either eternal or I'm in this body. And we say, when you get it that you are both, when you get it that there is a blending that is taking place, and that in this powerful now, you have the ability to focus the wholeness of who you are into this moment, so that when you're having a conversation with someone, in your complete alignment with the wholeness of who you are then evoking the best from them. In your complete alignment with who you are, you're feeling the best in this moment. Your body is thriving the most in this moment. In other words, you didn't come here to be partially alive. You came here as life to express itself in this moment and in this moment and in this moment, to revel in the beauty of your planet and the beauty of the others with whom you share it. You came to revel in life, not to fix broken things, because as we have just been saying to you, Source does not acknowledge anything is broken, just as always expanding. So we say in simple terms, you can't get it wrong and you never get it done. And the reason you can't get it wrong is because it's never done. So if in this moment it feels sort of wrong, it isn't wrong, it's just not done. And in what feels like wrongness to you, there's a new rightness that's being born. And that rightness is the new expansion that is being born. So as you accept that you are always eternally expanding, then it sort of takes the sting out of standing in a place where the contrast is showing you something that you don't want. And what we want to convince you of today, we are determined to do it. We will give you everything that we and Esther have in order to help you understand that if you can accept that in this moment, right here and now, whatever the moment is, wherever you are, on the elevator, in traffic, making love, moving through your life, in whatever way that you are, in every moment in time, there is this juncture where you meet you. And to the degree that you understand that and want to let the fullness of you be there in that moment, then your new decision, your newfound decision that you will leave here with today will be this. I am source energy in a physical body, and the emotion that I strive for is my manifestation of the juncture of that source and me. You have the ability to be fully focused in any moment. You can be fully alive or you can pinch yourself off. And to the degree that you focus upon good feeling things, you train yourself into that full aliveness. And then a wonderful thing happens. A wonderful acknowledgement occurs to you. And that acknowledgement is you no longer have to demand of others that they behave or perform in specific ways in order to make your life better. You give up the impossibility of trying to control the uncontrollable. And you begin at once to control the only thing that really is controllable and the only thing that matters. And that is your own personal, in this moment, manifestation of an emotion that feels good to you. You can do that, and you can do it now. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt, however, and say you can do it, and you can do it within 10 minutes. You can bring yourself into alignment within 10 minutes every time. And when you show yourself that, then you're finally free. You're free of everything that ever bound you. Everything that has ever felt binding to you has always and only ever been that one thing. That one thing where you have chosen something in your now to use as your excuse to pinch yourself off from the fullness of who you are. When you choose those things and you say, you are the reason that I can't feel good, then you are bound. When you say, oh, there is no reason for me to have pinched myself off because I now have full knowledge that I can within 10 minutes bring myself into alignment with who I am, then you are finally free. And then you'll be friskily moving through this life experience in good feeling moment after good feeling moment. And people who are watching you will say, what drug are you on and where did you get it? And you'll say, I'm on a natural drug. I've discovered that my physical body is a veritable chemical factory. And that when I get into an emotional place where I feel good, everything in my body works toward releasing everything that is good feeling. And they will say, well, it's obvious to me that you are on something. What is it? And you'll say, it's a very long story. But I can give you a quick version. I just decided to be happy. And they'll say, you are on something, you just won't admit it. You just won't admit it. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. It really has been co-creating at its best. It is satisfying for us to say to you that you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to and feel so many of you resonating with that so completely. In other words, there is a paradigm shift that is afoot because there are masses of you who are understanding the vibrational nature of your being, the emotional nature of your being. Above all other things that we have accomplished in the hours that we've been together here today, it is our desire that you leave with this sentiment brewing and expanding within you. And that is that what is, whatever it is really, really, really a good thing. Because it is the starting point of your journey that we promise